Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Rumble, ticker symbol RUM. And so I wanted to do a follow-up on this one from last week's video, which I put out on January 25th when we had the second red day in a row. During that video, I was suggesting that I thought there would be a pullback from this high at $7.02, marked by this yellow line, before another rally up. I did not expect that bottom to be on that day. I thought it might pull back to right around $5 before making another attempt up. But we didn't see that. We saw the bottom on that day, a rally up to a high on today, February 1st, of $7.60 before a pullback and a close at $6.92, just below $7. And so I just wanted to give my thoughts on where I see the price of Rumble going over the next few months. And one thing that I've heard a lot from the community on social media is that Rumble's going to $10. And so I just wanted to give my take on that based on some technical analysis that I think should provide some guidance on whether or not Rumble could get to $10, let's say by April, and how it would get there. And so I do think this video will be helpful in guiding on that journey. So basically what I see in the chart, looking at the RSI here, I do have this white line drawn here, which is highlighting a lower high in the RSI. Whereas if we look at the price at those corresponding pivot points in that line, we can see that we actually have higher highs forming in the chart in the stock price, and that represents bearish divergence. So that makes me think that this second top that we're seeing here is kind of a blow-off top, and we might be seeing a pullback. And so I do have a couple levels marked here that could be the levels that we retrace to, one being right around $5 based on the high on, let's see, January 22nd, that high being $4.97. So that would represent a gap fill, since there was a gap created between January 22nd and January 23rd. And then another gap that we see here is at $3.64, which was the high on January 19th, which was a Friday before January 22nd. So I do think those are two levels that we could be returning to. I do think one is more likely than the other, and I will break that down for you in just a second. But I do want to go over one other reason why I think that we might be seeing a top here at $7.60, and that is really based on this yellow line at $7.02, which was the high on January 23rd. And so on that day, we have a pretty big wick to the upside, pullback, and a close on the day at $6.50. And so this big wick to the top side is kind of like a topping tail, suggesting that the top is in there. And the only way to really invalidate that topping signal is to get a close above it. And so we did see on January 31st, yesterday, price go above $7.02, hitting a high of $7.15. So that was great, but we got a close at $6.85, so below that yellow line. And then again today on February 1st, we hit a high, $7.60, but closing below $7.02 at $6.92. So this level does seem to be pretty significant, and I do think that we will be rejected from it because we have not been able to close above it. And this spinning top that we see here for the candle of the day, February 1st, that is a reversal signal. So I do think price could be pulling back. However, I could, of course, be wrong, and it could go up to 10 next week. Who knows? It's pretty volatile, as you can see here. So, I might very well be wrong. But on the journey to 10, I do think there could be some good dip buying opportunities. And so I just wanted to go over my thought process on how the stock could get up to $10. And so that's really just based on a Fibonacci retracement, coming back to the low on, let's see, January 12th, which was $3.33, taking that retracement up to $7.60, the high of the day today. And so if we look at that, we can see almost perfectly the 618 retracement is at $4.96, almost perfectly lining up with this gap fill, this blue line that I've drawn here at $4.97. So I could see price returning to that level. I could also see it going lower. I could see it going to the 786, which is at $4.24. However, there are these other levels higher than that, like this one at $5.97. That's the 382. That also being kind of a psychological level right around $6. So, I do think that there are a number of levels that price could return to. But I feel that if it were returned to $5 or $4.24, I think that could actually be really good for our journey to $10. And that is really based on another Fibonacci retracement. So if I were to retrace from the top here at $7.60 and bring that down to, let's say, $4.96, so at that Fibonacci level, and then I adjust the y-axis, we can see that $10 price target that we're all so excited about, marked here by the green line, and the 1618 retracement from that downtrend is at $9.23. So I do feel like it could be getting towards $10 later this year, but I do think it will need to retrace down to around $5. Or if it returns to the 786 at 424, we can do this kind of retracement to get an idea of where price could go to the upside. And that would put price at $9.67 if it were to get back to the 1618 or to follow that retracement, the extension of this Fibonacci retracement. And so I find that pretty compelling. I do think that it looks like we are at a top here, and I do think that we will be seeing a pullback, which I'm sure a lot of people are not going to be happy about, but I do think that there are a lot of great dip buying opportunities at these Fibonacci levels from this retracement to the upside, such as the 236 at $6.59. However, I do think we will break lower. I do think we will break lower than $6. And the next level on this is the 50% retracement at $5.46 or $5.50. I do think that could be a good dip buying opportunity. But I think that getting to $10, would fit the narrative here of going to the 618 or the 786. So that's what I'm compelled by. That's what intrigues me. And I think that would be a great, great dip buying opportunity. $5 to $10, a 2x. That sounds great to me. So I do feel like we are at a top, and I'm going to wait for it to settle before considering establishing a position in this, because I do think the top is in for the time being. But April, it's quite possible it will be at 10. Who knows, though? And those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.